Recording. Hi, it's GMac and
BODProd.
How you guys doing today? We figured, it's 2020 and we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we better do what every single other person ever has done and launch a podcast. We figured we'd be original in that regard.
Always original.
OG. So we'll kind of tease out who we are sort of throughout the podcast. We did have a different podcast not too long ago that some of our personality kind of came out through. So I'm sure we'll tease a little bit more of that or do some callbacks to that. But I just want to introduce you to 1 Minute Minutiae. That's kind of what we're calling this, or 1 millimeter or 1 mm. BODProd and I, we figure just there's too much debate in the world about sort of really heavy, serious topic matter, like the U.S. elections coming up, religion, politics, this, that, and the other. But on your day-to-day life, are you more, interested in arguing about, conservatives versus liberals or anything like that? Or are you more interested in debating out, like, what's the best Halloween candy or what's the best wing flavor sort of thing, right? So we wanted to kind of bring that minute minutia, that sort of small snapshot of life that, countless friends are probably debating about in a garage, on a group chat or something like that right now. Because I know we do that. We just kind of wanted to bring that forward and sort of share our incoherent ramblings about the world. I think that's the best way to put it.
I'm sure you guys will be completely interested in that, and we hope to spark some huge debates.
Right. I know we've sparked many a debate before.
I know it'll happen.
So just a little bit how we're going to kind of set up or stylize the show. We're going to have a little bit of a kind of chop up at the beginning of kind of a couple of different topics that we want to debate on, just sort of really quick, why we think our point is the best or anything like that, which then leads into a longer kind of long form debate that we're hoping to have about a topic. Again, nothing too heavy or nothing too serious or anything like that. Or we'll try not to be too heavy or too serious. But really, we just wanted to sort of get our opinions kind of across the board and sort of see what, the rest of the world kind of thinks about something, right? These are all things you've discussed at some point or another, but it's interesting to sort of get it on tape, right?
100%, man. And just know if you disagree with us, then your opinion's probably wrong, but respected.
Yeah. And you'll see, so again, a little bit about BODProd and I, we are friends outside of the show. And we realized that we agree on a lot of things. I mean, like even in the long form, we kind of look the same more or less, right? Like I actually grow out my hair to avoid looking like him, actually.
Yeah.
But we realized that there are some things that we definitely don't agree on, and the things we don't agree on, we've really drawn our line in this. We've really drawn our line in the sand about not agreeing on those things.
Very aggressively.
Yes, exactly. Aggressively disagreeing. To say the least.
Paying homage.
So our quick topic debate, again, we'll do more of these sort of as we go out each week. But today we're going to discuss the best Halloween candy. We figure that's pretty in touch with with the season and what just happened last night and everything like that. And then our long form, sort of what we want to talk about is spring versus fall, which is the better season. Which is better, why I think I'm completely 100% right, and why Nick and the majority of people, why BODProd and the majority of people think that they're right.
At least in our circle. That's why we want to do this, to see if Graham has any supporters in his stance.
I love it. We both just named names, by the way, in this segment.
We can't even bleep it out now.
Oh, man, yeah, good point. Oh, we're screwed. We'll get past it. We'll move past it. It's our first week.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of dive right into best Halloween candy. BODProd, what do you think? Best Halloween candy?
I mean, if I'm going to choose the best, I'm going to have to go with my favorite classic. I mean, some people might not agree, but it's the mini arrow, man.
Mini arrow? Oh, my God. Why the mini arrow?
I don't know, man. The bubbles just melt in your mouth. It's one of those candies that's like, once I start eating it, I just keep going and going. I eat all the arrows out of the Nestle, with the Arrow Smarties, whatever else is in that pack. The kick. Oh, mint arrow, yeah.
Mint arrow is good.
Yeah, but man, it's arrow for me. It's arrow.
We were talking about this yesterday. So what's the top Halloween candy? And we'll go into a couple of other options and everything like that. But something that wasn't talked about, and I wonder if it was because it was too obvious, or maybe I'm the most ludicrous person in the world, but is there any better candy than Reese?
Yes.
No.
Yes, there is.
I'm sorry. Like, we didn't talk about it, but I think it's chocolate, it's peanut butter. It works on every level. Even the individual single ones, right? Like, it's just one quick, you pop a Reese in your mouth and everything like that. I think it's fantastic. If I'm ever at a grocery store, or if I'm ever at a convenience store or something like that, like impulse purchasing right at the register, the only candy I ever purchase at a register is a Reese bar.
Really? That's the one that gets you?
Only one. If I do it, it's a Reese.
I mean, man, I used to despise Reese. Like, when I was growing up, I couldn't eat Reese. The combination of chocolate and peanut butter just was disgusting to me. Now, with that being said, I had a couple recently this Halloween season, and I thought to myself, you know what? I was a little hard on the Reese peanut butter cup. They're not bad. I'll give you that. They're not bad, but I'm not putting it nowhere near my top 10.
Or not even in the top 10.
No, maybe like on the brink, but it's not inside.
You're calling Reese the Damian Lillard of Halloween candy?
I like Dame better than Reese peanut butter cups.
Just the fuck. Okay. All right. So I'll say Reese. A couple of other ones that maybe don't get enough credit, and we talked about this a little bit last night. Mr. Big, fantastic.
Huge sleeper. I mean, maybe not much of a sleeper because we all said that it's like a top bar, but
I don't think people talk about it, honestly.
They don't, man.
Think people talk about it.
It's definitely a sleeper.
Wonder Bars.
I love Wonder Bars. I think that's another sleeper.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like solid chocolate bars, there's so much happening. It's like it's a meal of a chocolate bar, if you will.
They are. They're heavy. They're heavy.
But yeah, like you get one of those fun-sized ones. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's I got a whole box of that Cadbury mix upstairs.
Right,
So as we were discussing last night, I was eating Wonder Bars and Mr. Bigs and Caramilks and whatever else is in that one.
See, that's one that I'm just not the hugest fan of.
Yeah, I know. That's what John said too. But
I mean, it's kind of like the chocolate's already sweet. And caramel as a whole is kind of sweet as well, right? And there's nothing like breaking it up. It's not like a Wonder Bar, where you have some like nuts and stuff like that breaking it up or anything like that. It's just chocolate and caramel.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know about you, but I don't enjoy like those chewy caramel candies that are just straight up chewy caramel. I hate them. I can't stand, like, I will never eat one.
You don't like Werther's Originals?
Yeah, like, they don't do nothing for me. The butterscotch, I don't know. It's a strange flavor.
You're not a 98...
chocolate around it, we're talking a different story.
You're not a 98-year-old white woman. That's why.
No, exactly. Like, do you want a Werther's? No, I don't want a Werther's.
Thanks, Grandma.
Yeah.
All right, so if you give me, like, 2 or 3 more, that's just sort of like a rundown quick.
Like a top 3?
Yeah, it could be your top 3, or just give me 3 more that we talked about, we didn't talk about, that you think maybe should get a little bit more praise or gets overpraised or anything like that. Give me 2 or 3.
Well, I know one of the huge kind of discussions or debates that we had last night was the Mars versus the Snickers bar, which is a very similar bar, but you have a peanut in the middle of the Snickers.
Give me yours right now.
I like the Mars better.
Snickers.
I like the Mars better, and this is what I said. I said, if I wanted a peanut, then I'd have a PB&J. I don't want the peanut in my Mars bar. It's unnecessary.
What you just said there, though, is interesting, because, again, I think this is something that I'm the only one in our group on. So if you wanted a peanut, you'd have a PB&J. Do you like crunchy peanut butter?
Yeah, it's not bad. I prefer smooth, but
crunchy's way better, man.
I like crunchy.
It's way better. Smooth is like, it's butter to me at that point, right? Like, it's just, there's no texture, there's no dynamicness to it or anything like that.
I respect crunchy peanut butter. It's just something that like, when I get it, I don't buy it for whatever reason. But
no, I only buy crunchy.
Fair enough, man. I'm not going to knock you for that one. I respect that.
All right. Well, I'm going to knock you for Mars. Snickers, not only is it just the better bar because of the peanut, again, it's adding texture. It's adding something different to the candy bar, which I think is so key, so important. The marketing campaign on the Snickers alone is just...
Yeah, for sure. And don't get me wrong, I like Snickers. I will eat one. But if you're going to ask me if there's the Mars and the Snickers, I'll take all the Mars. You can have all the Snickers.
Well, that
I
was
said I like the
actually-
nougat, man, and the peanut just takes away too much nougat for me. Like, I'd rather have that solid chunk of nougat.
To me, nougat's probably the most overrated thing in a candy bar. It's like whatever. Right?
So you
What
don't like
is
the Three
nougat?
Musketeers?
What is nougat? Tell me what nougat is.
Honestly, I have no idea what nougat is.
Precisely.
I don't know how
what it
it's
is.
made, but it's fucking good.
It's probably not a great process on how nougat is made, right?
You know what? And ignorance is bliss. I truly believe that. So I don't really want to know how nougat's made. You know,
It's
I
not
don't
a
want to find
natural-
out it's made of like cow bones or something or whatever gelatin's made of.
It's not a natural occurring. So my partner, she's a vegetarian, and I remember the time she found out that Jello was made, like, or what gelatin is made of.
Yeah, it's gross,
I
man.
remember the look in her face when she stopped eating Jello.
It's hard one to hear for sure.
Yeah.
You're like, what? How can that delicious Jello be made from bone?
It defies logic. So, I mean, we're going to do some research after this, and nougat's probably made from, like, veal tears or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be something just really odd, and I'll never be
sheep
able to.
anuses.
I'll never be able to enjoy it the same after.
Another candy bar that I think people maybe just kind of look past, but it's a great, not only just candy bar, but flavor in general that I think people really overlook, cookies and cream.
I love it.
Cookies and cream is fantastic, man.
Like the Hershey's.
Hershey's cookies and cream. But you know what,
Oh,
man?
it's amazing.
If you go into like, there's like, fancy donut places, a cookies and cream donut or cookies and cream ice cream.
The Beechwood does a
Exactly.
cookies and cream donut.
Where are we located?
Is that in California? Beechwood, I think.
Who knows? I think it's just like a solid flavor, right? Like,
It's good, man.
It's crunchy. It's chocolatey. It's all you need, right?
It's like a reverse Oreo almost, you know?
Right. We have
It's
lots
like
of
you got
opinions
more
about
cream and
Oreos.
Cookie.
We have a lot of opinions on
Yeah,
Oreos.
there's
We'll talk
another
about
one.
at some point.
That might be a future episode for sure.
I think that's a long important episode.
That one was a long-running debate that spanned over, like, I feel like at least 2 weeks.
And I don't feel we've like fully stopped, right? Like,
No, very strong opinions on either side of the spectrum, and conclusion was never reached. And to be honest, I don't think recording it on here is going to change that. But we're going to do it anyway.
we're gonna do it, and nothing will change. And then finally, I think we should get into this a little bit too, because so Nick was texting on Friday. BODProd.
I know what you're gonna. I know what you're gonna say.
And it was just, I mean, there was enough ridiculous things to comfortably discredit him from me ever wanting to associate with him ever again. There was enough things that he talked about. And again, we'll bring them all up. But just in the sort of debate of a Halloween candy, what is the preference between Smarties and M&Ms? And then do you chew your M&Ms or chew your M&Ms or Smarties, or just swallow your M&Ms and Smarties?
I'll explain that one a little bit.
Please.
So growing up, I don't know why, but I swallowed Smarties and M&Ms.
Because you were addicted to pills, clearly.
No, that's the thing. When I was young, I was one of those kids that probably took liquid medicine longer than I should have, because I hated swallowing pills. Like, I couldn't do it. Like, I don't know why it was like this mental block, but I couldn't swallow pills.
We were
But
in
at the
grade
same
11
time,
when Nick needed to take his liquid
Not-
Motrin.
no, I wasn't that old, but it was like past the point where it's like, hey, you should probably be taking pills now. Like, I don't think the liquid medicine's gonna, it's dosed for younger children, so I don't think it's gonna be as effective on you anymore.
Right.
And probably because I just wanted to keep drinking the banana medicine when I had an earache.
It's so
Like
good.
anyone else,
So
like
good.
anyone
It's
else.
so good.
But at the same time, my parents used to get so mad at me because I'd say these things and I wouldn't swallow pills. But at the same time in my life, I was regularly swallowing Smarties and M&Ms, which are typically larger than your average pill.
Right.
So I can't explain it, but I'm not going to lie. Nowadays, I do chew the odd Smartie, but
Right.
I swallow 80% of that package, dude.
That's insane. It just seems so dangerous to me to just like put a package of M&Ms in your throat and just be like, yeah, I'm just gonna swallow all of this and I'll be fine.
No, I don't do that. You're right. That's too risky. I go one by one.
Okay, so what is it, Smarties or M&Ms? Which do you prefer?
Smarties.
Fuck, man, that's just so crazy to me.
M&Ms
M&Ms are just a better candy. They're smaller, so you're feeling better about, you're already feeling like shit because you're eating chocolate. You're feeling better because it's a smaller overall pack. I don't know, man, like just sucking on them, getting that flavor out and everything like that, and like it gets kind of like to a warm, melty chocolate mound in your mouth, right? Like that's great. That's cool to put down to swallow, right?
You see it. That's what I do. I don't just like pop it and swallow. You get the suck going on. You get the flavor out of it. You get down to that melty, soft chocolate, and then you swallow it.
I
Done.
guess. I mean, I guess I see it. I'm M&Ms all the way, just because on the variety as well too. Like, you give me a peanut M&M,
Yeah, I like them.
a pretzel M&M.
They're good too. I don't have them often, but I'm
Underrated.
not gonna.
Very
I
rare.
chew those though. Those are way too big to swallow. The peanut
Okay,
one.
good. Yeah.
That would be dangerous.
Yeah, that's you're gonna need the Heimlich on that one.
I'm
Sure.
not encouraging children that just went trick or treating watching this video to swallow your Smarties or M&Ms because that is a choking hazard, I believe.
We don't advocate choking.
Don't do that at home.
Right.
That's just what I did. I'm sharing my experience.
It's funny you should say that. So we live in the same region, but different parts of the region. So you said you had about 12 kids or so last night?
Yeah, about a dozen. That might be, a
Generous.
little generous, but it was about 10 kids. I'd say.
We put out a bowl. So just for the record, I have a young child in my home. So COVID's taking on a very weird time for sure.
Yep.
But so we just put out a bowl and everything like that. And I didn't honestly know what we were going to get. But so we put out 100 pieces of candy, minus, 4 or 5, I'll be honest. But it was all gone. So, I mean, I know in like the the take your own scenario, I expect people to be honest, but honest to me is 2 or 3 pieces, right?
Yeah.
Like I never understood that bowl when you were going trick-or-treating as a kid that said, you only allowed 1 piece of candy. It's like, then be here. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
Then be outside if you only want to give me 1 piece of candy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when my partner told me that all of it was gone, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. Like from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, it was all gone.
So you don't know though if it was 2 kids who took 50 candies each, or
We heard about-
if it was 50 kids who took 2 candies each.
We heard about 8 or 9 groups of kids come up.
That's
I fell asleep.
So
I fell asleep pretty early, all things considered.
Yeah.
So we heard about 8 or 9 groups of kids come up. So I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact number.
That's not bad though. If you had 8 to 9 groups of kids, assuming there's at least 2 to 3 kids per group. So, yeah, you might have had 30, 40, maybe 50 kids. That's not bad. Or 10. The range is large.
Yeah, it's a range. They can be large.
It makes me sad though, man. I feel like Halloween was such a rager when we were that age, and
I think it's all cyclical, man. Right? Like,
yeah, you're probably
our
right.
generation is having kids. Like, there's a lot more kids and everything like that. Like, it'll get there, right? And I mean, this was an odd year, anyways, right?
Fair enough, for sure.
But yeah, Halloween was a rager, man. Like, oh my god, we'll have my partner on here sometime. She was going on about how she used to like organize her candy. She would make a stop off at home to drop off a bag of candy. And then it never occurred to me to do that.
Yeah, man. The pillow sack got too heavy. It was absolutely filled, and you had to, go for a brief intermission, dump it off, and go back out, fill it up again.
It's fantastic, man. We're going to use this time. It's really funny. I think we're going to use this time whenever my child goes trick-or-treating to teach them about taxation. I think it's a very important thing for them to learn very early. 50% tax on everything.
So it's not as much of a shock when they finally start understanding the value of money in this.
Right.
And
yeah, they've already been screwed over by the government.
Yeah.
Okay, so just really quick, because this went on probably a little bit longer than we were expecting, but it was good. Good back and forth. Top 3 candy. Top 3 Halloween candies.
All right. My top 3, I said earlier, I'm going to go with Arrow as the number 1. Number 2, I'm going to go with Mr. Big. And number 3, I'm going to go with the candy-sized, bite-sized Mars bar.
Right. I think it was all implied that all of this was candy-sized or bite-sized, but thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, but some chocolate bars, man, they taste totally different between the full size and the candy size.
You know who I think that of most? Mr. Big Bar.
I agree. They're completely different.
It's a completely different bar.
I like the big one better, with that being said. Yeah.
I don't know who it was. My mom used to buy a chocolate from her work for whatever kid was doing whatever fundraiser, right? I guess we used to have to do that shit too. But anyway, so she would always come home one time a year with like a giant Mr. Big Bar, and she would like chop it up into like little pieces and everything like that. So like you were still probably getting like a fun-sized bite, but it was a completely different taste than like a fun-sized Mr. Big Bar.
I like that. That's probably like the best of the best if you had done that.
If gun to your head.
Yeah.
My top three, it's Reese Cup. Like, Reese Cup is one, you could call it 1, 2, 3 if you wanted to, really.
Wow.
It's such a solid candy, man. Just everything about it. Will Arnett does the advertising for it. Like, it works on so many levels for me. So Reese is number one. I'll probably go Wonder Bar number two.
Okay.
It's a
I
hearty
respect
bar.
that.
Hearty bar.
I respect it.
It's got chewy. It's got crunchy. It's got kind of solid on the outside and everything like that. The only downside, and we did talk about this, is the kind of chewy aspect of it, like that gets stuck in your teeth.
It can. It tends to. It tends to.
And that's why I'll put this candy bar as number 3, and then I'll do Twix number 4, because Twix is fantastic, but it does have that kind of chewy in your teeth downside.
Yeah.
And I'll go number 3, Cookies and Cream.
I like that.
I love a cookies.
I like that decision. I like that
decision. It's so
decision.
good, man. You got to break up the chewiness in your teeth, and the cookies and cream, it's just a fantastic flavor. It really is.
Yeah, it is, man. And I feel like most times, when people have the big box of candy, the Hershey's one isn't like one that everyone gets. So
no one's going for that.
That cookies and cream is also a huge sleeper in my mind.
Right.
But if I had to pick a number 4, and it might even bump out the Mars at number 3. I completely forgot about this. It's going to be a coffee crisp for me. We haven't talked about that, but
we haven't talked about that. Yeah.
I love a coffee crisp, man.
Take a coffee crisp, man. Dip it a little bit in a cup of coffee.
Oh, I'm so happy you said that.
I love that. So good, man. I can't. It's like unlocks a completely different flavor.
It's unbelievable.
And I guess like if we had to throw it there, like Kit Kats are great as well too. Like
they're awesome. They're awesome.
Yeah. I find they're tougher as a fun size though. That's something where I want all 4. I want all 4.
And even when you get all 4, you're kind of like, I kind of feel cheated. I'm like, that was barely any chocolate.
This is trash.
I like the chunky one. I like the Kit Kat chunky.
Yeah, chunky's decent. They have like different flavors, like the white chocolate and stuff like that.
Yeah, you ever had the green tea Kit Kat?
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it reminds me of like, I know they're spinning off like green tea ice cream. It's just a good flavor.
That's what you're going with, yeah. Go to a sushi restaurant, that's the ice cream I want. Give me a scoop of
Yeah, man. It's a great Japanese flavor right there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So again, we probably did those quick hitters longer than that. And trust me, guys, we had a lot more stuff that we can put in that.
Oh, we could have went for 2 hours.
Yeah, not even just on Halloween candy. I have a couple of things I'm really upset about that you've talked about, to be honest. But we're gonna move into our main debate, and this one has been polarizing, at least our circle. And I hope it polarizes people as well too. I definitely seem to be in the minority on this one. I just don't understand how people can really. So the debate is fall versus spring. I prefer spring. I think spring and fall are more or less the exact same season. You're basically going to get the exact same weather. It's going to be nice for a stretch, and then you're just going to get miserable shit. It's going to be windy. It's going to be rainy. You might get the odd snowstorm and everything like that. The only main difference to me is that fall, yeah, sure, you get to look at pretty leaves. But you know what else is kind of nice? New life and new growth. Just one man's opinion. But the main difference between fall and spring, and I just always fall back to this, is today, for example. Today is November 1st. We had a hailstorm. There's ice on my window right now. And that happens in spring. I'm not denying that. But in 2 months, ice will still be on my window. Where in 2 months from spring, it's summertime. I'm wearing shorts outside.
Yeah. I know we've discussed this, and it always comes down to the transition period between, summer to fall, and then fall to winter, and then you get your winter to spring, and then your spring to summer. So they're kind of reversed in the sense that fall, in the beginning of fall, that's when you typically get your most desirable weather, and then the end of fall is when you get the weather that's like this with your hailstorms and rain and cold.
But then I get this weather for 3-4 months.
You do, yeah. Well, yeah, in a sense, it's winter here in Niagara, or wherever we're from.
It could be anywhere, really. I don't.
It's been icy the past couple winters. It's not really snow anymore. It's ice rain, and the freezing rain on the roads is treacherous to drive in. So you know what? If we're gonna give you one thing in this spring versus fall debate, I'm going to say I do agree with you in the sense that fall transitions into the worst season of the 4 seasons that we experience, us Northerners experience. However, I mean, right now, I love this kind of weather. I'm not just a fan of that early summer or summer to fall transition. I love this weather when we're deep into fall, where it's kind of like cold, like 5 degrees and rainy and cloudy
Ugh.
and falling leaves. Something about it just makes me comfortable. I don't know what
Yeah,
it is.
you're a 14-year-old white girl. That's why you like it. No,
You get a coffee going, and it's perfect, man. It's comfortable. The fireplace goes on, the furnace kicks in. I don't know, man. I
I
love
get
it.
that. I'm the minority. All of our circle is fall. Even my partner sided with you guys and says fall. I take random polls sometimes when I'm at work or various other places, and they're all saying fall as well too. I totally understand the minority aspect of it. It's just like hope springs eternal. Is like that's a saying for a reason, right? Like you never know what's gonna happen in the summer, right? Like, remember that one year we got really into wiffle ball?
Yeah, man. It was like 2 summers we did that, eh?
Yeah,
But the one summer was intense. That's
like,
the one.
I think it was 2018, the one before our life. Yeah. But
yeah, exactly.
So I imagine being in a similar situation like this in the end of March, right? Like, so this weather's kind of shitty and everything like that. And then 2 months from that, we're balls to the wall playing wiffle ball, having the time of our lives. We're in 2 months from now, like, we're going to be huddled up in our basements suffering through seasonal affective disorder. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I get it, man. And this year's going to be especially different, too, because, it's almost been a whole year of the world dealing with COVID. And
the all-time greatest collaboration, COVID sadness with seasonal affective disorder, right?
Yeah, so that's going
to be a rager.
That's going to be a tough one for a lot of people. Yeah. If you experience these types of things in the colder, darker months. But I don't know, man. Like, I'm sure if you get someone else in here that maybe, like a cousin of mine, he's living out there way west of us. And I'm sure he loves looking forward to the winter because he has an activity in the winter that he loves to do, which is snowboarding.
I'm going to stop you right there because we should never evoke that man and his logic on absolutely anything.
But no, realistically, so, I mean, do I enjoy winter as much as I used to? No, I don't. Because I don't go do that. I don't snowboard like I used to. Like when we were kids, like winter was arguably my favorite season because I just looked forward to going snowboarding every weekend. But now what do I look forward to in the winter? Nothing. I don't do anything in the winter, as most people don't. You get hunkered down. It's dark by 5 p.m. You get off work, and it's like, well, I'm tired now, and I'm going to make dinner and just chill, which I like doing too. I'm not going to lie. But after a while, after your 3-4 months,
a couple pounds later.
Yeah, a couple pounds later, you're ready to get outside and play something like wiffle ball with your buddies.
Right. So you're a big golf guy, right?
Yeah, okay.
You're a big golf guy.
Yeah,
which do you prefer? No, which do you prefer? Spring golf or fall golf?
Fall golf.
Why?
Just the scenery is the best, man. I love, you get the backgrounds with all the changing colors. It's harder to find your golf ball even when you hit it fair. But it's
Do you like fall golf? Yeah.
I love fall golf. Yeah. It's cheaper. So it's cheaper in the spring too. But I don't know, man. I mean, maybe I'm biased because I enjoy fall more, so I'd say I like fall golf more. But fall and spring golf beat midsummer golf for me. I hate being out there when it's 35, 40 degrees, and you're like, golf isn't that physically intensive. I should not be sweating and feeling like I'm gonna faint right now.
And that's another interesting point. So, like, because we'll bring that up as well too. I'm of the thought process. I would rather be 35 degrees and schwitzing.
Yeah, I know you're a weirdo like that.
minus 6 degree weather, right? Like I'm Canadian. We grew up in it. I play outside in the snow. I go outside. I shovel my driveway. I'll shovel little old lady driveway. It's like I'm cold. I understand that, but I would rather sweat at 35 degrees than be cold in any way, shape, or form.
You prefer the extreme heat than the extreme cold.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm the other way. And you know what? This all makes sense because in our stances on this debate, I'm sure there's people who prefer fall that would rather be in the heat than the extreme cold.
Right.
But my body just handles cold better than it handles extreme heat. I don't know why. I don't do well in the heat.
You and I have more or less the exact same body type, right? Like we're pretty hairy from head to toe, as people can see. But it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form, right? The way I look at it is I'm always at the hottest I'm going to, like, I'm always at the hottest that I've been, right? Like, even so, like when the temperature's rising throughout the summer or anything like that, right? Like if it's 32 degrees, okay, well, it's 32 degrees. It's only going to get like, it's 32 degrees at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's only going to get colder, right? Like it might only get to 27, but it's getting colder, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how I process it, is that it's, okay, I'm at my apex of heat right now. It can only get better from here.
Whereas, that's a good way to look at it.
Whereas like, what's the cold? Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's kind of a double standard, but minus 12 and minus 6 are the same temperature to me.
Yeah, I mean,
it's below freezing at that point.
If you get the wind chill in there, then a minus 12 with a wind chill of like minus 20, you're going to feel that more than like a minus 6 with a wind chill that gets you to maybe minus 10, minus 12.
Right.
I get what you're saying, I do.
I'll throw humidity in, just to like counteract my point. I'll throw humidity in. Humidity's a nightmare. Like it really is. Like that's what sucks. It is. We've talked about it, like West Coast weather in Canada. Like you might get up to 32 degrees, but I'm cool as a cucumber in 32 degrees out on the West Coast because there's no humidity.
32 and 20% humidity is much different than 32 with 80% humidity. Really that's like a swing of like 10, 15 degrees now.
Yeah.
You know, like where it feels like 46 and they're still at like maybe
yeah.
They don't even have a humidex with 20% humidity.
Exactly. No, I don't know. It's I understand I'm going to be the minority, and I kind of like that we've extended it to like the summer, winter as well too. Like, you know, what's your personality type? Are you a spring, fall, or like a spring, winter, or a spring, summer? Right? Like, but I don't know. It's just the thought of, okay, we've gotten out of all of that, right? Like it snowed, we've had our ice. Maybe we have one more, and it's whatever, right? Like. But like backyards, you're gonna be able to go sit under your pergola. You're gonna be able to have a barbecue, and it's a little bit easier to have a barbecue and everything like that. Outdoor basketball courts, right? Like outdoor basketball courts, outdoor football. Like, you remember that one time we played football and like it was just completely snowed out? Did anyone have fun? You thought that was fun?
I loved it.
The final score being 7-0 after 2.5 hours of playing. Yeah, that was super fun. It's like watching a game of soccer.
Yeah, but man, that was like, I mean, we played tackle we were tackling each other. And that wasn't that long ago. And I remember,
we were all
like,
sore
for
for
2 weeks. Everyone's like, you know, that initial feeling when you wake up and you go to roll out of bed and you're like, nope.
Terrible idea. It was really a bad idea.
We're too old and big to be hitting each other like that now.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Steve probably, you know, like, I think he got pretty injured in that game.
Yeah, Steve gets injured everywhere.
But I think he took a boot to the leg or something like that, or it was something. But
we were playing basketball like 3-4 weeks ago, and he took a kneecap to the knee.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He gets it everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, man, no, that game was awesome in the snow. That was like the snow.
I don't know. I mean, it's fun playing. It's fun playing no matter how you slice it, right? But like,
you don't get your highlight reel, you know, plays that you would in a fair weather game. But
we don't have professional people cleaning our football, so like, you know, after like 6 or 7 drops, the laces on the football are snowed in, right? Like you can't get a grip on that ball. You can't throw it.
Well, not to mention, I mean, as a receiver, you're not catching a whole lot with winter gloves on.
You're not running 10-yard routes.
God no.
You're running two and in. You're running 2 and in.
But then for like a quarterback to throw a big bomb like that with you know, a cold football and like it's a sloppy game for sure. But I don't know, man. Those games are fun.
Yeah, I think it's just fun being out and doing it.
Exactly.
I hope everyone that, you know, does that can get back into some sense of normalcy, whatever the season after COVID's kind of done and over. Which, you know, don't hold your breath. But yeah, like, again, it was fun. And I understand that I'm in the minority, and if this gets picked up on social media in any sort of meaningful way, I'm sure there's going to be extremely hateful comments about me liking spring and probably my man bun. I understand that, but I don't know. It's just the thought of the next 4 months are wearing shorts, flip-flops, vacation time. I don't know.
I get it, man. The transition's a very, very huge deciding factor in where you stand. But for me, I'm not gonna lie. This, like I've said before, the spring to summer transition is great. It's much nicer than the fall to winter transition. However, the summer to fall transition, we need to take the summer to fall transition and verse it against the spring to summer transition, because the fall to winter and then the winter to spring, they're both shit in
Right.
most people's minds.
Right.
That's when you experience the worst of both. You're getting like, yeah, like this. Like I always say in the spring, like that winter to spring, it's like everything's just like muddy and like
Everything seems
salty.
gray. It just seems so
and,
gray and salty.
and like dirty snow and like
saltier than pulp.
wet. Yeah, and it's just an ugly time of year. But I like once you get the buds starting to come out in your flowers and your trees, and the weather starts getting nicer and it's not so wet in spring and it's comfortable. It's like 18, 19, 20 degrees. I love it, man. I love that. However, you get that in the fall. The leaves slightly start changing color. You get better scenery. It's there, man.
So
Everything's there.
So you want to compare the spring-summer versus the summer-fall transition?
I just feel like those are the strengths of both seasons.
Okay. I'm still going to go personally spring to summer transition.
Really?
Nice weather, going into nicer weather. Plus, it's like the vacation season. I mean, I don't know about you, but my work picks up from the fall. Like, I know that first week, like that first week of September when everything's really starting to pick up is awful. It's like, oh man, right?
Yeah.
You go from having like, on Friday at 2:30, you're basically done, and you've really basically been done like for a stretch, right? Like you get to take your vacation time. You get to take it for large stretches of time as well too, right? Like again, that's specific to my job, but I feel it's specific to most jobs, right? Because most people have kids and families and everything like that, so you have to sort of get back into some sort of routine. Whereas the summer is just the spring-summer transition sort of brings forth that possibility of no routine and endless possibility.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a fair point.
You taking a picture of yourself?
No,
Okay.
Blue screen. Yeah. I know. I lit up. I'm like, ooh, that looks a little different.
I saw you.
No. I mean, for most professions, sure, I would agree with you that's when most people get busier, especially in the months to follow with retailers. If you work in retail, because then you got like Black Friday coming up in November and fall, and then Boxing Day's there, Christmas. It's just nutty from pretty much Black Friday and on. But I mean, but then you have other people in jobs that like work seasonal positions, maybe like in construction and shit like that, where their season's getting less busy and potentially, they have that whole winter off. They go on EI or whatever. So that's another reason why they could look forward to, they've been working hard all summer in their season, make their money, and then. But I agree. I would agree. Most professions probably get busier in the fall versus the spring.
Right. Or the summer. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, and again, this is probably the most cordial we've ever been discussing this topic. So, thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just spring for me is more or less fall. You have bud growth versus pretty colors. I get that. But it's just, I know in March that 2 months from now, I'm sitting pretty. Whereas in late October, I know in 2 months from now, like, we're hunkered down.
Yeah, for sure. I get it. But like so you don't get any joy out of winter at all. Like even at the beginning, I know by the end of it, it gets old. You're sick of the cold. You're ready for the warmer weather. But that initial
no.
You don't get excited when you see snow for the first time, like as it did yesterday or the day before. There was a little bit of snow.
That was terrible. I woke up and there was frost on.
This
is the scenario. So last year on Remembrance Day, it was November 11th.
Yeah.
There was a huge snowstorm in the region. Whited out everything and everything like that. I was still already upset. I was in fall and everything like that. I know I had to walk out of my house at, 5:30 in the morning, clean off my car, clean off my partner's car, dig out our cars. I lived in an apartment building with a bunch of nice old ladies. Clean off and dig out their cars as well too, right? Like, and it just came out of nowhere. right? Like, and again, you can check the weather reports all you want. Weatherman is probably the only job outside of maybe doing podcasts. So let's hope that our job can continue like this. Weatherman or weather person is really the only job where you can just be wrong and everyone seems to be okay with it, right? Like if I was ever that wrong in my job, like I wouldn't have my job, right? And again, if you were wrong in your job, or anyone generally speaking listening to this, if they're wrong in their job or that wrong in their job, they don't have a job, right?
I mean, yeah, that's true.
So the snowstorm came out of nowhere. You're like, oh shit, I don't know where my gloves are. Got to dig those out. Because you're not keeping your winter gloves out. You're putting them away in a box somewhere, right? Was your spring clothes, your shorts are still probably relatively easy to find and everything like that because you're going to wear your shorts, you know, lounging around the house or whatever, right?
Yeah, so, I'm wearing them right now.
Me too. I've actually been working from home since the start of this. I don't think I've worn pants since.
Why bother?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, there was no joy in it. I don't know. I mean, maybe when I was a kid, right? Like the thought of snow days and stuff like that was cool. But like getting up at 7 o'clock in the morning and it's dark out and you're like, okay, well, I have to add an extra 15 minutes to my routine this morning of chipping ice off of a windshield. Right?
It sucks. It sucks.
If there's any sort of joy about it, it loses its appeal within weeks. I'm not talking months. It loses its appeal within weeks.
I agree. I hate that part of the winter, and I'm not defending winter. It's not enjoyable at all.
That's what this is about.
But yeah, I mean, but there, you know, the first few snowfalls, I'm like, oh, awesome, and like I'm always rooting for a white Christmas. It never happens, but I'm rooting for it. I want to see snow on Christmas. I don't know, but apart from that, I mean, I wouldn't be mad if winter ended in February. By then, I'm done. I'm sick. I'm done of the cold weather. I probably already caught a cold by then. I'm just done with it.
Another thing, and again, this is, again, going a little bit further away from our spring and fall, but really, again, I just want to try to illustrate that, like, spring is the gateway to none of these problems, whereas fall is the gateway to these problems. You and I both had it. So I got it last year. I got a sinus infection in my nose.
Oh, yeah.
You said you've had that for forever. And, like, I've talked to other people that, like, once you get it once, it kind of routinely comes back. I have a guy that I've worked with. He's had 2 nose surgeries in the past year. And he had one, like, 4 years ago because he kept getting them so bad he developed polyps in his nose.
Yeah, the nasal polyps, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, that to me is what fall is, right? Like, I've had a steroid that I've taken intermittently since it happened last year.
The nasal spray?
Right. So, like,
works like a charm.
But in the spring and summer, I don't really use it.
See, you don't get bad seasonal allergies then, do you?
Not terrible. I get them, but not terrible.
Because that was when I first got a sinus infection, it was because I had such bad allergies for like 2 weeks. Particularly one season where my seasonal allergies were just like the worst they've ever been. Like for like 2 weeks, man, I couldn't even step outside without having like a full-blown allergy attack. Itchy eyes, sneezing uncontrollably. And that's how I developed my first sinus infection. And then that winter, when I got like a cold or whatever, a sinus infection again. And the doctor, you know, they say, yeah, because once you have one, then you're more susceptible to get another one. And then, like, ever since then, every spring and summer, when the grass pollen comes out, which is another reason why I cannot stand spring because it's hard to go outside.
Yeah, there's grass everywhere. Yeah,
grass, tree pollen just absolutely wrecks me. So, yeah, man. And ever since then, it's like every time I have allergies, it's like I feel the sinus pressure. So, I don't know. It's just playing with me now, but that's another reason why I enjoy fall better because I don't get those allergies.
As bad. Okay.
As bad.
That's fair. And again, I really appreciate the sort of kindness at which we've discussed this topic matter. I do have a feeling though that I will get reamed out by at least our circle when they do listen to this.
Hey man, I know we've went at this topic a little harder between ourselves. You know, through a group message and a person, but we've done that. You know, we've gone aggressive in our stances.
Something tells me it's gonna happen.
You know what though, man? I've always said to you, I said I mean, I'm picking fall over spring, but spring has its moments.
Sure.
And I will agree with you that spring in the transition to summer is a more happy future than the transition from fall to winter.
all fall has going for me personally is pretty leaves.
It's pretty leaves. It's the colors. It's the comforting rain and the cloudy, dark weather.
I can get rain and dark weather in the spring.
Yeah, but it's snow that looks dirty. You don't get the good look, you know. The dropping leaves. I don't know, man. It's just better. It's more comforting. It's more comforting.
Fair. No, most people say that. Most people say that. Like I said, my partner, she's in heaven right now, like scarf season and everything like that. She's all for it.
Yeah. You know, you get your pumpkin spice.
Is that really an argument you want to make for fall?
I'm actually not a huge pumpkin spice fan. I don't love the flavor, but
It's pretty dry.
I mean, I get the appeal, but I'd rather just have a normal coffee. I don't need pumpkin spice lattes and whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But I like coffee. It hits better in the fall, in the morning. It just warms you up better. I don't know, man. I don't know. I just it's just something about getting warmer when you're cooler.
I can appreciate that. You know what I'm gonna say? Cold beer in the hot spring times, but neither here nor there. No, that was awesome, man. I think that was probably longer than we were anticipating this going.
Yeah, as usual.
But as per usual. But that was the first episode of 1 Minute Minutiae. So BODProd, thank you so much. I think this was really great.
Yeah, we had a great discussion there, GMac. I look forward to the next one. And we'll see what you guys think.
Right. I got a couple of points to make about the next one as well, too. I think we'll probably top on top chip flavors, top chicken wing flavors.
Ooh.
And we'll maybe set like our debate. I'm thinking maybe like best Lord of the Ring movie or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I love that.
We have some opinions, yeah.
We might agree on that one, but I love that.
Yeah. I don't know. But we'll definitely sort of tease it out on social media, guys. But like, subscribe, comment, all that nonsensical nonsense that we probably should have put at the beginning. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you did sort of listen all the way through, BODProd and I are looking very much towards sort of giving a glimpse into our minds and hoping to sort of spur the discussion into your minds as well too. So yeah, 1 Minute Minutia.
There's the first episode. Thanks for listening, guys.
Peace.
Peace.